Hello to all of you. It's so good to see you tonight on this beautiful Monday night. And I thank you for joining me tonight. And for tonight's product presentation, I'm going to go over our devices, our beautiful iTeracare wands. But I'm not going to go into how to use it and a whole thing tonight. I've done those. So if that's what you're interested, please go on to my YouTube channel and find some of those. But I will go into a little bit about what they are, what happens when we turn them on and blow into the body, and then I will share some beautiful testimonials with you. So just to give you a kind of an overview of those devices, and then I'm going to go on and do a little presentation on our beautiful new water bottle called the Seven Wonders water bottle. So welcome to all of you. And if you're on, come say hi to me down in post any comments. Let me know who you are and that you're there. And if you have any questions as we're going through, please feel free to put those down there. Even if I don't get to them right in the presentation, I promise y'all I'll get them after. And also, if you have any great testimonials, love to hear those. It's just so helpful to hear our testimonials. So often, I've gotten and shared the wand with so many people, and then I don't hear back. And when they comment something to me and I say, well, tell me what's going on, and the testimonials I get are so amazing. I'm like, oh, wow, so good to know that, to be shared, because it's so inspirational. And hey, Cheryl's on with me tonight. Hey, Cher. And Cheryl's always so helpful also at helping with the comments. So, all right, you guys, you ready? Let's get started. We're going to start with the wand presentation. So have to start with our disclaimer so that you all know it is a certified household electrical equipment. It is not a medical device. That's really important to know. It's also been certified as safe to use. It emits no harmful radiation, and it has labels allowing for its distribution internationally. All right. So again, no medical equipment. I can't answer specific medical questions because it's not a medical equipment. So I think you guys get that. And of course, we always know consult your doctor or other healthcare professional with questions regarding medical conditions. All right, let's move on from that. So every one of the three devices that we have, we call it the Classic, the Premium, the Pro, they all were designed with what we call 3-in-1 core technologies. So I'm just going to briefly go over each of those technologies. The first one is terahertz. So the blowers are sending out terahertz frequencies. And this particular frequency is very specific. It is the same frequency as our body's own healthy cells. So it resonates with the cells, activating any of our healthy cells, re-energizing our dormant cells, while at the same time, it's eliminating bad cells, mutating cells, C cells, and free radical cells in the process. Imagine that. It just knows, it can identify that based on the frequency. All right, we'll go into a little bit more of that in a minute. Then it's also putting out scalar energy. We call this the quantum part of the energy or the core technologies. It's generating what we call scalar energy, and that energy really still energizes all of our cells. It balances our body systems, strengthens our body so that we can help our body heal. And it also penetrates deep into our vital organs. Now, the third part of the core technology is optical quartz. So there are hundreds of exclusive mineral ingredients that are actually in this. And the core component of each of these wands is actually produced through very high temperature molding technology. And it reaches only 2,000 degrees of temperature in order to have this work. It's actually mimicking 1/40th of the sunlight's light energy. And what it does is it's strengthening the auric fields around the body. It also amplifies. So when we turn it on, because of those quartz, it allows it to go right into the body and penetrate deeply into the body. So it's the three core technologies that make these devices so effective. And by the way, they're also what makes these particular devices, specifically ones that are distributed through Price, the real wands. So now there are a lot of knockoffs. So if you go on Amazon and all these other places, please don't be fooled. They aren't Price technology. Listen, it's the scientists started studying this and working through it on all of these core technologies from 2014 on. And our premium is actually the fifth generation of these wands. And you really think that somebody can do a knockoff in less than a year and make it as effective? No, they do not work. So don't be fooled by that. All right. What is terahertz? Well, that terahertz wave is actually found between infrared. I'm going to show you right here. I know you can't really see much of it, but infrared waves and I'm sorry, infrared is on this side and microwaves. So it's a very specific, it's called the terahertz gap. And that again is the same frequency as our normal human health cells. So let's just talk briefly about the five main features of all of these wands. I'm going to go right from the beginning on the activation. So when we turn it on, that terahertz wave is going to resonate, as we said, with the body cells at 100 million vibrations per second. Imagine that. And it actually charges up our cells and strengthens our body's DNA. I'm going to show you that in a second with a kind of a pictorial of what's going on. At the same time, it's able to identify cells that are damaged and start to help heal, if you will, those damaged cells and all the tissues that are affected by free radicals. We're going to talk a lot about free radical damage, and the benefits of antioxidant and anti-inflammation water. Yes, put that one in the back of your mind. All right. So anything also that is not, should not be there, it will also, because of that frequency, it will cause those things to vibrate very, very quickly. And you know what happens when something vibrates really, really quickly? All of a sudden, it shatters and liquefies. So that's how it's actually able to get rid of things that we do not need. It's also able to penetrate deep into the body. And it's been estimated that this terahertz will penetrate up to 30 centimeters into the body. And when it does that, it's able to get deep into the bone. I'll share with you why that's so important in a moment. But it also reaches deep into the cells, into the arteries. It really helps with microcirculation, and it just opens everything up because it is deep into the body. It's extremely safe, 100% safe. It is non-iodizing. And so you can use it. You can use it on babies. You can use it on adults. You can use it on pets and plants and food and just about everything that is living, you can use it on with zero radiation. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's really, really user friendly. I've been talking to a few people the last few days who are really into frequency healing and energy healing, have been for a long time. And they're like, oh my gosh, Renee, I have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on energy products, but I could never figure out how to use them. And when I finally did, I knew this much, and then I just got frustrated and put them down. So I love that about this. It is so simple. Basically, you guys, you turn it on and blow. And that is one of the biggest benefits of this. You can use it. Everybody can. So I just want to show you, what am I talking about when I'm talking about kind of charging up the cells? So what happens is our normal cells have a voltage of about 20 to 25 MVs, and that's just a normal cell. And, you know, we have these beautiful normal cells, and over time, what happens? We start to maybe not eat quite as well. We get a little stressed. We're getting radiation from our monitors and just from life. If you fly, from the cell phones. Oh, I looked around from a cell phone, for the cell phones, etc. And what happens is that starts to let the frequency just start to decline. Just like with our cell phones, right? Our cell phones are all charged up. We use them, use them, figure that's the stress. And at the end of the day, they're like, wah, wah, wah. We need to plug them into the charge them back up so they're ready for the next day. Well, that's essentially what can happen to our own cells. Over time, that cell charge weakens. At about 15 millivolts, what happens? Inflammation starts. And then we get an abnormal cell because we stay under stress all the time. And now we have down to about 10 millivolts, and now we have an abnormal cell. That's what we're calling these bad cells. So now our poor little cells need some charge. We've got some bad cells going on. Other things are happening. We're getting tired and fatigued. But then what do? We turn on our wand. We get the terahertz. We get the scalar. That is charging back up the cells, thinking of it just like a battery pack. Whoop, and now we're back up to a charged cell. And don't you think that your body can heal itself when you give it enough charge, when you give the body the energy that it needs? The body can then take that energy and start to unblock any of the energy blockages. It can open up in the lymph system, start to get that lymphatic system pumping, and everything starts to work so much better. So that's what we're talking about with the charges. All right. So I saved one of the best parts for last when we were talking about penetration and how we know that this wand can allow these beautiful frequencies to penetrate into the body, deep into the bone marrow. And when we are able to get into the bone marrow with heat and frequency, we're actually activating our body's own stem cells. Now, when we activate stem cells are these beautiful cells that will actually go to wherever the body needs to have regenerated. So you might have heard of stem cell therapy, maybe even had it yourself. Maybe typically, I see it anyway, where they're injecting stem cells into joints, usually like knee joints, shoulder joints, because they're hoping that those stem cells will go right there into the cartilage, the ligament, maybe even the bone where there's been some, some problems there. And one of the things that we learned from Dr. Kim on one of our other live streams is, I didn't realize this, but stem cell therapy can take up to a year before you really see a benefit. And so we find with this, we tend to get benefits. Well, we don't know exactly what is happening inside, but we're going to make an assumption that those stem cells are happening because the testimonials and the results that people are getting really are just kind of mind-blowing, actually. So on this particular slide, I also wanted to just show you a little study, a big study actually, that was done by the Russian Academy of Sciences. It's a very prestigious academy, and they did studies showing the effects of terahertz radiation on stem cells. So, I think a lot of times people think of these devices as woo-woo and we're just talking about energy, but this is science. I'm always saying this is not woo-woo. This is science. And terahertz is being used all over in medicine, in agriculture. By the way, did you happen to realize when you go to the airport and you're like this and they're checking you that they're now using terahertz frequencies because it's not harmful? Yes, so terahertz is being used all over the place. But here's what they showed specifically with this is the authors concluded that the use of terahertz radiation as a stimulus is capable of modulating gene expression and cell programming and may be of great practical significance for regenerative medicine, just showing that it does stimulate those stem cells. So I wanted to kind of follow up with a little bit of scientific study on that. All right, so now we kind of get the things that are happening, just blow away amazing when you just turn on that device. And I want you to recognize too, or realize that they really are just revolutionary devices. They have been passed strict testing for safety, for efficacy, electronic conformity. We have human clinical studies. It is patented. I had somebody mention to me the other day that, hey, Renee, China doesn't allow for patents. This is Malaysia. It's a Malaysian company, and that's where the patents are held. And there have been 62 clinical studies reported, and they were issued by the Beijing Research Institute of Chemical Technology. And what I have been told is that it's very difficult to get these through. So we know that. And listen, do we even know that? We don't need all these studies. We know. We turn it on and blow and look in our testimonial groups and all over social media. Yes, people are getting amazing results. All right, who's it suitable for? Anybody that has various inflammations, rhinitis, gastritis, gynecological inflammation, prostatitis. So anything that ends in your itis is inflammation, and the wand is beautiful to help with inflammation. Various pains, shoulder and neck pain, joint pain, low back pain, headaches, dysmenorrhea, sciatica, you name it. We have seen just great testimonials on helping with pain. Various blockages, meridian blockages, lymphatic blockage, varicose veins, great for that. Weight loss, yes, weight loss. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Insomnia, diabetes, high blood pressure, and low blood pressure. So these are all caused by various blockages in our body's energy system. And that is based on traditional Chinese medicine. And they are very clear. They've mapped out those meridians 3,000 years ago. And by the way, it's basically now Western has mapped out the fascial lines, and guess what? They're pretty much the same. So we know that we want to get everything up and moving, and that's one of the things that the wand will do. And it is incredible for various skin conditions, acne scars, blemishes. Great for anti-aging. It can really help with wrinkles. It can help with inflammation, kind of puffiness in the face. Eczema, you name it, psoriasis, we're going to show you that as well. But there are some contraindications. It's not recommended for pregnant women. Menstruation, it can feel great for cramping, but it can also increase blood flow. So you can try that and see how that works for you or not. Not for acute diseases. Something comes on quickly, you go seek medical attention. Anybody that has congenital heart conditions and diseases, these are things that you are seeking medical treatment for, obviously. You do not want to wand directly over anything that is implanted in the body. What is an implant? Anything that was not there when you were born, somebody put it in there. That's called an implant. Is it teeth implants? Yes. Breast implants, do not wand over it. Stents, metal up and down the spine. All these kinds of things do not wand directly over. So the question always is, does that mean I can't get a wand? No, you still can blow on the body. You just do not blow directly on anything that is implanted. All right. Open wounds and fractures. All of a sudden you have a big open wound, you cut it, you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, you have it stitched up. Then once it's closed, then of course you can wand to help the healing. If you have a fracture, you're going to go get it cast. Cast comes off, you're going to wand, okay? So using our common sense with that. All right, so let's just go over quickly the 3 devices that we have available. All of them have all 3 of the core technologies. The first one is this beautiful red wand, and this one is $350. It is great for personal use. It's got 3 settings on it. It has kind of a powerful blow with a very low heat, a second, not quite as high a blow with a medium heat, and high blow, high heat. So the devices were designed to be used with heat. Traditional Chinese medicine, they're very big on using heat, even to offset any inflammation. So somebody gets pain, an injury, and an inflammation, they believe that you use heat in there so that it can dilate and allow oxygen, nutrients, etc., to get in there. The Western medicine kind of philosophy is, oh, you got injured, we're going to ice it and reduce the inflammation. Either way, take your pick. The settings are really based on your personal preference. The only place we recommend not going really high heat on is the face. But other than that, it really is personal preference. And then just know that, again, for some things, you might find you like it without quite as much heat, and others you don't. $350. And these are prices based in the United States, and they include shipping, just letting you know that. Then the next one that we had was called the Pro. I have one if anybody wants to see it, but it's right here. It is much bigger and heavier, and it's called the Pro because it was originally designed for professionals who are using that in a clinic to help. They're using it all the time, all day. You don't want it to heat up. It's got 6 settings. It even has a cold shot for anybody who is using it for aesthetics, as like a cold shot on the face to close up pores, etc. It is a powerful device, a beautiful device. It is a little bit heavier. And that one's $3,500. And we recently got a medium wand. I just call it a medium, right in the middle. And that one is $1,050. And I just love this device. It's heavier. It's easier to use. It's quieter. The red wand is fairly loud. It's like a hairdryer. That is what it sounds like. This one actually has 2 settings. It has a lower blow, medium heat, and a high blow, high heat. And so if you just want one and you're like, well, what do I do on my face? You just pull it out a little bit further away. The penetration goes in once it actually hits the body. So you don't have to worry about it if you're out a little bit further. But it is tremendous, and it is really well built. And this is actually the 5th generation of wand. So it is very efficient, and it is powerful. Estimated that when you have this one, it takes about half the time as the red wand for each treatment to get the same results. And I don't really know how you would actually do a study with that. So that's probably a little bit more anecdotal, but I just thought I'd mention that one. All right, let's just go over a few of the testimonials on this before we move on to our beautiful new water bottle. So I do want to mention first that one of the big parts of the treatment is using the wand to what we call structure the water. And structuring the water means we blow that terahertz into our water through glass, and it takes the water structure from clustered to linear. And when that happens, they become very small linear chains, and they're able to actually penetrate into our cells so much better. So you are able to get so much more hydration into the body. So, we drink our water, and you know how it is. First thing in the morning, you drink your big glass of water. 5 minutes later, you pee the water out because those big clusters just don't absorb very well. I get so many people telling me, oh, Renee, my God, I'm drinking. I go to give blood or whatever, and they're telling me I'm dehydrated. Why is that? Or I end up with edema. Well, that's just because of the water. It's those big crystals. So this is really important, especially as we get into the water bottle, our new water bottle as well. So just wanding the water will structure it, will help you hydrate, and just getting that hydration with the terahertz frequencies, look at all the benefits that you're going to get. So we have people that just get the wand just for the water, and just that is amazingly healing. And this is just how we do it. I just have my big jug here, and I wand directly into it. And some people have a whole thing where they go over. I don't recommend that because you don't want it splashing and you don't want it falling in. It goes through the glass, so you don't have to worry about it. So Karen asked, does it still work if all I have is tap water? It's not whether it will work or not work, Karen. It's still going to do that, but you just don't want to be wanding all those chemicals, okay? Because the chemicals have their own information, and you don't want to now absorb all those chemicals that are in the tap water deep into your cells. So just think about it. Even if all you do is get a Brita or one of those, just get as clean a water as you possibly can. All right. I did mention, did I not, that it helps in losing weight? And that absolutely is the case, especially if you're holding on weight, you've been doing everything you know to do, you're eating right, you're exercising, and oh my God, nothing's happening. Well, part of that does have to do with a toxic load that you might have, and you might have some inflammation. So as the body starts to rebalance itself, get rid of some of those excess toxins, and reduce inflammation, because a lot of times belly fat, I'll call it obesity, right away, it has to do with inflammation. So you can see the pictures. Look at that. Some people have seen that when they kind of put coconut oil or some other types of oils on and then wanded the belly. Yes, that seemed to make a big difference too. All right, so I'm just going to show you a few more of these testimonials. This one, hopefully you're not too squeamish, happens to be personal to me. It's my dad, and he's 91, bless his heart, as we say in the South. And he does have a lot of these cells on his body, and at 91, he just doesn't want to go have anything happen to him. He's just over all that. Okay, so not talking to him. But he showed me this on his shoulder. I'd not seen this before. His shirt's always on, and I was like trying not to overreact. But you can't really tell, but it was very large, like this. And I was like, okay, well, let's just play with this wand. So I started wanding maybe 10, 15 minutes and said, okay, every day I want you to wand. And he said, okay, he would do it. And he had my mother wand, and who knows how long or how they did it, right? But after 6 days, I came back. Let me see that shoulder. And you guys, look at this. That big growth was gone. It had fallen off, and underneath, the skin started to heal. Pretty powerful. And this was just showing you some anti-aging of a skin. I do not know how long she wanted, but here was the first part. You can see there's a lot of the liver spots and some wrinkling, and that was going away. Now, this beautiful woman was an elderly lady. She fell one night. Her daughter saw it. And you know, when we get older, our skin gets very thin and very wrinkly, of course. And so the daughter was sweet and really wanded, and then put a big bandage on her that night. Next morning she came, she wanded one more time. And that night, her mother sent her this picture. Look at the difference in the healing. Now, we all know if all she did was just bandage it up, and you weren't going to heal that quickly, most likely. How about something different? How about like a trigger finger testimonial? This one was really interesting. You can see that this woman cannot straighten that little finger there. And nothing was working to get rid of that trigger finger. So she wanded, and look at what happened. This was just after 2 sessions, which was pretty powerful. So I've seen other testimonials with trigger finger. They needed to wand longer, and over time it did seem to help. But this was what I call the one-hit wonder. And so there is that possibility. Here's a sweet lady. She could not close her fingers. She had bad rheumatoid arthritis. After just 15 minutes, it relaxed the nerves, tissues, and muscles enough that she was now able to close her hand. So again, it's an itis. How perfect. Psoriasis, a skin issue. It is just, it's heartbreaking when you have it, and it's very difficult to get rid of. And so here you see after 7 days, probably they got a little bit redder, because sometimes when we are healing, the body is pushing out first before it heals. So sometimes we do get a little bit worse. So you have to just keep going. After 9 days, you can see the redness went down a little bit, but the flaking happened, but they kept going. How wonderful is that? And so after 22 days, look at that. It's just wonderful. So this was a young lady that had been suffering with cold sores for a year. She kept breaking out. One would break out, it would start to go down the next one. And my goodness, a young girl like that on her face, you just know what that's doing to her self-esteem. So she went everywhere. Doctors, they put her on all this heavy medication. Nothing worked. So her dad bought her a wand. She wanded twice a day for 10 minutes each. And after 1 week, look at that. I mean, you know how happy she was. Bell's palsy. So neurological issues can be helped with this after 1 week of therapy. varicose veins. We have lots and lots of testimonials because the wand is wonderful on microcirculation, so it can really get in there and open everything up and help. Sometimes varicose veins can take a little while to really go down, but this person had a beautiful result after just one wanding. But if it doesn't go down after just one, don't think it's not working. Just keep going, drink the water, and keep wanding. Um, Thyroid nodules, much improved. And so, again, we talk about glands and blowing into it, whether that was from stem cell or simply just allowing the body to heal itself, doesn't really matter. All we know is after 10 times, that lady got a beautiful result. You can see the difference there. Phlebitis, another itis. Here it is. It looks just painful, does it not? And after 20 times of therapy, it's almost completely gone. So those are our beautiful testimonials for the iTeracare wands. And again, just the testimonials are just amazing. So now let me shift gears just a little bit because I'd love to share a little bit about our new product that we just got. And this is, let me get the thing, it is called the 7 Wonders water bottle. And I'm so excited about this for many reasons. One of them is it just works so beautifully along with or separate from our wand in doing the healing. So I'm just going to kind of go back a little bit to say, we live in such a toxic society, right? Even if we're trying to eat all beautifully, right, and all organic all the time, and let's face it, that's pretty challenging to do. And have we done it our whole entire lives? Probably not. So we do have some toxicity going on, right? A lot of us are not able to get really clean water. Maybe we're drinking water from a tap, eating processed foods, all this. We're in radiation. The air quality isn't wonderful. So we're in this toxic environment. And what can we do to help our bodies help itself, to help our bodies, heal and reduce inflammation? Well, we know that we can do that with the wand. Let's go into some things about the water because water is life. Without water, we're not going to live very long, are we? Do you realize that there are certain places, however, in the world that have been called miracle water sites? And these are places where people live a lot longer than other places. And when the scientists go to see them, they're like, why do the people live so much longer in these particular places? And they discovered that it's the water. And so people go every year, thousands visit these different places to get healing from just drinking the water. You can see it. There's a Lourdes in France, a place in Mexico, in Germany, and in India. And originally, they thought that the reason that people were getting so healed from the water was that that water was alkaline. And yes, it is alkaline, and that was offsetting all the acidity in our body because toxicity equals acidity. I said that really well, didn't I? My little mouth was going good there. But what they have since discovered is, well, yes, alkalinity can be very helpful. It's actually the dissolved hydrogen in the water that is causing the anti-aging healing properties of this water. So now it's time to think, wow, tell me about the benefits of dissolved hydrogen. I really had no idea, and I think this is so good. I'm so excited that you guys now are going to learn along with me on all the amazing health benefits of dissolved water. So here's just one of hundreds of studies on PubMed that you can find on the benefits of hydrogen. So here's what it's saying. It's extremely unique because it has the capability to act at the cellular level, right? We were talking about when we structure water, that water's actually able to get into our cells. Well, guess what? Hydrogen is the smallest known molecule. So it is qualified to cross the blood-brain barrier, to enter the mitochondria. That's the cell, like the energy center of our cell, and even has the ability to translocate to the nucleus under certain conditions. So this is really huge. There are also a few side effects involving hydrogen, thus making hydrogen a perfect medical gas candidate for the convention of a novel therapeutic strategies against, are you ready for this, you guys? Cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, the C word, metabolic, respiratory diseases and disorders. Very good. So let's go to the next slide. So what I did was I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my own kind of deep dive a little bit into hydrogen-rich water, looking at some of the studies, and I'm just pulling up just a couple. But these couple I'm focusing on because I know so many of us have these conditions that we're trying so hard to upset and to heal, right? So hydrogen-rich water decreases serum LDL cholesterol levels and improves HDL function. So LDL is what I'm just going to call, I hate using good and bad terms, but the bad cholesterol improves the good cholesterol function in patients with potential metabolic syndrome. So are you looking to have a way to reduce that bad cholesterol and maybe even with doctor approval and testing, start to maybe lower some of that cholesterol medicine that you might be on? It's a possibility. So I just want to show you at the very end. Further, we found consumption of hydrogen-rich water resulted in an increase in antioxidant enzyme superoxide dismase and a decrease in, I won't even try to say that substance, in whole serum and LDL. So it really says, in conclusion, supplementation with hydrogen-rich water does seem to decrease that LDL and ApoB levels, improve dyslipidemia, injured HDL functions, and reduce oxidative stress. And it may have a beneficial role in the preventing of metabolic syndrome. Here's another one from the Institute for Heart Research in Slovakia. So right off, we talk about metabolic syndrome, and you guys, you know, that has so many medical risk factors like dyslipidemia, hypoglycemia, obesity, heart disease. I mean, we could go on and on. It increases the risk of cardiovascular, neurological diseases, and increased mortality. And it even has to do with dementia and Alzheimer's. I don't know if you know this, but in some circles, dementia and Alzheimer's have been called type 3 diabetes. So once again, blood sugar, metabolic syndrome, you kind of get that. All right, so let's go to, where was my conclusion? Our conclusion, our results give further credence that high concentration hydrogen-rich water may have promising effects as a therapeutic modality for attenuating risk factors of metabolic syndrome. How cool is that? All right, here's another one. How about using this beautiful water to improve mood, anxiety, and the autonomic nervous function in our daily life? So again, it's just talking about how hydrogen has an antioxidant activity and can prevent inflammation and thus also improve, again, any of our autonomic nervous functions, cognitive functions, mood, anxiety. Imagine that it's going to help with all these different things. To me, that's just amazing. All right, so all these things have to do with this hydrogen-rich water, which is what happens when you put the water into your water bottle. It will make the hydrogen, dissolve it, bring it down into the water. So we also can test what's called the oxygen reduction potential, or the ORP. Now, this has to do with the amount of contamination and antioxidant level that's actually going to be put out in this bottle. So you can kind of get a sense on this scale. So soda, if you're drinking soda, it's about a plus 500. So where we want to be is as far over to the negative ORP as possible. Just tap water is plus 380 because it does have some contaminants in it. Bottled water, again, bottled water, this is a generic, right? Because there's a lot of bottled water, but on average, it's about 300. And then you get to 0. Now we get into more of the antioxidant properties, okay? So we know we go for an antioxidant. What do? We take vitamin C, or we start eating oranges. That's about a minus 50. Green tea, another known antioxidant, about minus 80. Cod liver oil, oh my goodness, if you can, get that one down, it's 240, but it is a powerful antioxidant. Seven Wonders water bottle has been tested at -500. And actually, I have heard that it could get up to about 700. So we know that it is a powerful antioxidant. Now, one of the things to know too about antioxidant is think about an apple, right? When you cut an apple and it sits there for a little while, it starts to turn brown, right? It's oxidizing, or it's like getting ironizing, right? It's oxidizing and it's aging. And that's exactly what happens in our bodies. We get a lot of these free radicals just from our body's metabolic processes. If you happen to be an athlete or you're going out and you're exercising, while it's wonderful, we aren't going to stop doing that, especially if it's more intense, it does create free radical damage. So we get so much free radical damage, oxygenation, radiation, all free radical damage. So the more antioxidant that we can get into our body, the more anti-aging we're going to have. So speaking of oxidative stress and anti-aging, I found this one. Now, this isn't specific to hydrogen or anything like that, but what it is talking about is how oxidative stress plays a major role in the aging process, just like we just talked about. And the reactive oxygen species are free radicals, are highly reactive molecules that can directly damage our cellular structural membranes, lipids, proteins, and DNA. Okay, so did you also realize that it's oxidative stress that causes the aging of or graying of our hair? Also, wrinkling of our skin. So, when we start reducing that oxidative stress, ta-da, be interesting as a lot of us start drinking our hydrogen rich water, whether or not we're going to start having not graying, getting back to our original hair color. And by the way, I have seen that in some of the testimonials in the group where people's hair is going from gray back to their normal color, and we're growing hair. Just another great benefit, right? All right, so we have all that. The orb is low. We've got the hydrogen rich. How about the pH? So when we are, eating the foods down here low on here, which is processed food, drinking soda, wine, pork, lamb, microwaving our food, we are way down here, very acidic. 7 is about a neutral pH, and tap water is about a 7 because municipalities do adjust it to be right at that neutral pH. But we also know that when we get very acidic, that's a time that our cellular matrix, it sets it up for dis-ease. We know that cancer typically will come in when our cellular matrix is very acidic. So that's the reason that the pH value can be very, very helpful. And most of our everything we're doing is acidic. And it says right here that it takes 20 parts of alkalinity to neutralize 1 part of acid in the body. So we've really got to work on increasing the alkalinity and what we're doing from an alkaline standpoint. So, you even have right here at about 6, you have oysters, some tea, etc., oats. Tap water is here. And then as you get into more of your raw foods, some of those like vegetables, etc., you're going to go up high on the alkaline scale. So it has been estimated, just depending on the temperature, that the water in the 7 waters is right about 8 to 8.5. So it's right in here. And I personally like that. I would prefer not to have everything if I'm drinking mostly this alkaline water, because again, we're always seeking balance, right? The body is seeking balance, maybe a little bit on the alkaline side, just so that we can balance the acidity. So having it right here in the middle can really be just a perfect place to help you. This was a weird screen. I'm sorry about that. But the other thing about this water is it's very antibacterial. So the studies have shown that it absolutely can help that. And I actually have a personal testimonial with that. I personally have a lot of my body runs with a high staph amount. And it's one of the reasons that I can tend to get skin issues. I have it really well controlled. My wand is controlling it beautifully. But if I get stressed or the weather changes or whatever, I can start to get a bit of staph, and it comes out in my skin. And since I have been drinking this water, I noticed that all that has gone away. So I was like, wow, that was very confirming to me that yes, there is some antibacterial going on here. All right, so I know I've already talked all about that. I'm just going to do a quickie wrap up. So one, you put the water in this water bottle, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. It will create the water that we're looking for. And it has been estimated that we have between 800, this is called ppb, which is parts per billion, to about 1500 parts per billion. It's very high after just 5 minutes. So we know we are getting those benefits of that hydrogen. And one of the things to know is that when you pour it out and you drink it, you want to drink it within 2 hours. Because remember, while it does get dissolved down into the water and we're drinking it, it is a gas. So over time, it does start to dissipate. So you do want to go ahead and drink it quickly. Within about 2 hours should be fine. So you get the benefits. It does have that lower orb. So the more negative, the more antioxidizing it is. And it's between 300 to 700. It is alkaline, around 8.5, and it also reduces the molecular size of the water. So, I was talking about structuring the water with our wand, which it does that. Well, guess what? Extra hydrogen also tends to structure the water. All right, structuring meaning it goes to very small so that we can allow it to get right deep into those cells. Powerful antioxidant. We've talked about the anti-aging benefits of that. And it is mineral water. It does put minerals into this water. And they're core minerals like potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, because our energy system needs minerals. Our bodies need minerals. And even if you're taking mineral supplements, etc., you can probably reduce some of those, but it's very unlikely that you're going to get too many minerals in. Most of the time, we're not getting nearly enough. So it's really nice that we have mineral water. And yes, it is antibacterial. So I love all that. All right, real quick, by the way, our body is made of energy. Okay, we already know that, right? So when there's a problem with the systems, it has to do with the energy in our body. And that's why we're going to charge it up with the frequency. So this is glass. All right, so you can wand your water first, which is what I do. Then I put the wanded water into the water bottle, close it, let it sit for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. What happens is at the bottom is a mineral filter. This does not use any electricity. Okay. It is completely done through the mineral filter that's on the bottom of this. So it goes in, it has a chemical reaction with the minerals, and you'll see it. You'll see bubbles coming up through the glass. All right. And that's the hydrogen. At the end of 3 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes, they say, gives you the max, but even at 3, you've got plenty in there. Then you can take it out and you can pour it in something else. Or you can pour it in something else and you can wand it then. You can even wand it right through here because it's glass. So you can do it any way you want. You can even make hot water, warm water, or cold water. How do you make hot water? Well, you can go ahead and fill the whole thing with hot water just below boiling. They recommend not boiling, just below boiling, and that makes it hot water. It will not affect the hydrogen. If you just want warm water, you can put warm water in or do half warm and half the whole thing. Beautiful. All right. So it works through that. That's it. It's that easy. Okay. Take it out and drink it and enjoy that beautiful hydrogen rich antioxidant structured water. And just notice, you guys, how good you feel. I'm pretty blown away. I'm noticing, especially when I'm going out. I did a big hike a couple of days this weekend, and man, I was powering up the hills. Usually when I'm a quarter of the way through, I'm huffing a little bit. I don't have that same endurance, but I sure did now. So I'm just loving this. So I appreciate it. And last thing, Once you're not using it, you do want to make sure that it's dry, and they recommend taking that off and doing it upside down so that there's no water in here, because when there's any water getting down into the mineral mix, it's going to keep generating that hydrogen. So you don't want to keep generating the hydrogen. Now, the last thing is that because we are using this mineral filter, it recommends that about 3 months you will need to replace the mineral filter, especially if you're going. They recommend, like, if you're drinking about 64 ounces a day, that's about 8 of these 8 ounces. And the filters are going to be about $90. The water bottle is $3.50, which includes shipping. And I can't answer any more about the filters yet because we don't have it yet. We don't know quite about the filters yet, but we'll give you all that information as we get it. So thank you, guys. Let me just come on over here. I'm going to stop this, and we will remove that, and we'll take some questions and testimonials. So let me see. Thank you. Thank you. So all the way back to Rachel. Hi, Renee. I'm wondering if I don't have, let me just kind of show this one so everybody can see. Thanks, Rachel. Don't have the wand. Can I still use the water bottle? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Just stand alone. You can see all the benefits that you're going to get with that. So the answer is yes. And hey, Dan, and hey, Renee. And I answered Karen. And Cheryl had several growths disappear. I know she did. Cheryl's gotten some great results with it. And Sam Squatch is always asking about the blue light. You know what, Sam Squatch? Here's my answer to you. I've heard numerous answers. I've heard that it's blue light therapy and that blue light does have some benefit to it. What I know is, from an energetic standpoint, even if you get let's just say a blue glass, okay, for water, and you wand through that blue glass, you will get energy from the blue, because blue colors also have information. So you'll also get that information deep into your cells. So that blue light probably does have some healing properties. I can't tell you exactly what or exactly how much. The other thing I've heard is it's just showing you exactly where you're putting that wand, where it's going in. That's my answer. I don't know. Got it. Okay. How would you wand for optic nerve damage? I would just wand. Okay. I would, as long as you don't have anything implanted in your eye, cool shot, I would shut my eyes and I would wand and see. I think it would be wonderful. Also, hands, feet, and ears also are reflexology points. So do the basic protocol, wand your hand, wand your feet, wand your ears. You might want to look at those charts and just see where the eye is and focus specifically on those. And let us know how that works for you. Yeah, and Cheryl says, so when you add charged water to it, we get a 1-2 punch. Boy, do we. And you guys, you can tell, oh my God, that water is just so soft and smooth. It's just beautiful. You can get it right on down there. And Diane, do we order through you, Renee? Yes, you do. And I'm only saying that because I know Diane, and she probably got it from me. But if you did look at it from somebody else, Cheryl, or Diane, you're going to get it from whoever recommended that you come and listen to this now. Okay, so you always want to order products through whoever recommended them to you. All right, thanks so much. And I think I don't see any more comments. Anybody else want to give me a shout out? Any testimonials for tonight? Any other questions? No. All right. Well, listen, you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come learn about these beautiful devices, the wands, the water. They truly are revolutionary. And I'm just so excited that we now have this technology available to us at a relatively affordable price that we can use to share for ourselves, for our families, for our pets, all that. And I see I just got another question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer. Hey, Deb, you know what? Any clean water, like I put in my wanded water. So whatever you would use for your wanded water, you can put in. How's that? I know that on some of the videos, especially from the gentleman from Malaysia, they are using tap water. because they don't have the same level quality of water necessarily. So that's my answer. As clean a water as you can get. So thanks again, you guys. Have a beautiful evening and a terrific day. We'll see you again soon. Bye.